friend.
You want to step right up to this mic right here? You can throw the headphones on if you want, if you prefer.
Yep,
I mean,
take your coat
with
off,
or
get
without the mic,
comfortable.
you can still hear our voices, but with the headphones on, you can it kind of cancels out the
You
back
can hear
noise.
yourself a little better. Yeah.
How you doing? I'm Matt.
Hey, what's happening? I'm Brian Pirrip.
Brian, nice to meet you. That's Responsible Rob.
Rob, nice to meet you, Brian.
What's happening, Rob? What's happening?
So we were told that you were coming in. Tell the people a little bit about you.
Let's see. I've been a baseball card fanatic since I was about 8 years old. Kind of left the hobby when I was about 14 because I moved to Germany, and so there was no baseball cards to be had in Europe at the time. Got back into the hobby at about 30 years old. Became obsessed again, but it was a very solitary hobby for me. I just kind of would kind of sneak in and out of card shops, buy some stuff online, but I didn't know that there was any community. I was kind of embarrassed about being a card collector back then.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And then about a year ago, I was showing some of my cards to my friends, and they were like, dude, why aren't you we didn't even know you did this. And so I started busting out some of my collection. They started seeing some of my pieces. And one of my guys said, hey, why don't you tell us a story? And I just woken up. He's like, tell me a story about one of your cards. And so I told a story about a 86 Donruss Canseco rated rookie.
Okay.
And then the next morning, I had 37,000 people had watched it. And
No
so
kidding.
I thought, well, I guess people enjoy hearing stories about cards from back in the day.
That's super cool.
So now I've just been traveling the whole country, going and meeting people all over, opening packs in every corner of the country.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
So you go all around the country.
Yeah.
Go to local shops like this.
Yeah, yeah. I've been to probably 25 states in the last 4 or 5 months.
No kidding.
Get out.
So you gonna rip some today here?
Of
at
course,
FRESHPULLZ?
man. I have never walked into a shop and not opened a pack.
That's super cool.
Awesome.
What is right now? 'Cause I'm sure as a collector like yourself, it always changes and fluctuates. Well, what are you into right now? Are you more into basketball? Are you more into football? Is it still a little bit of everything? Is there a certain product that you like better right now?
Well, I've always collected vintage. Vintage has been my thing. I've got, I posted a picture and a video yesterday of my 1952 Topps pack that I've got that's unopened, and people.
Well, I want to show.
wow.
Well, speaking if you like vintage, look what I just picked up today.
Goodness.
I didn't know what it was, but I saw it.
That's cool.
And it right?
Yeah. See, I love this stuff, man. I love these old cards that have all this history behind it.
I have no idea what the history is behind it. It was just on a table over there in front of our showcase. A gentleman was there. It was $15.
Well, that was a steal,
And
bro.
I was just like, that needs to go into my PC because I don't know anything about it. It's a PSA 5. It's from 1954.
That's sick. I
right?
love that.
I loved it too. I was like, when this goes in my personal collection, I will look through them and I will just smile at this card because I think it's hilarious. First off, because it's a car.
Yeah.
Never mind, it's a limousine. Excuse me.
No, all my the stuff I really want to collect right now is I'm really into the 1887, 1888, like the 1887 Allen and Ginter set.
Oh wow, so you're talking
those are
way back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
the tobacco cards.
Tobacco cards, right?
Ooh, let me ask you. I got another question for. What is your? I'll ask you two questions. A two-part question. What is your favorite card that you own in your collection, and what is your most expensive card in your collection?
Ooh, great questions. See, that's the funny thing. For me, the expensive card never correlates to the favorite card.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, my most expensive cards are, I have, that 52 pack is probably my most key piece. But as far as cards, I have a 1996 Topps Chrome Refractor of Kobe Bryant.
No kidding. I think I've seen that before.
That's a pretty cool
that's
card.
a nice one.
And I've got,
is that the card where he's layup in?
He's doing the little layup thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They actually, a gentleman over there has a couple of them.
Yeah. So this is the refractor. So this is a pretty rare card.
Okay. Now, is that your favorite or your most expensive?
No, that's probably the most expensive. I also have an Albert Pujols auto refractor rookie. That's one of the favorites.
Wow,
that's dope.
But definitely. And what did I just pick up recently? Oh, I picked up a 2018 Bowman Chrome
Ohtani?
Atomic.
Atomic, wow.
Atomic 9.5 BGS, and I love that card. I think it's just fantastic. But my favorite cards, this is where it doesn't correlate, is my favorite cards are actually a 1990 Leaf Frank Thomas rookie card. It's probably worth $50.
Yeah.
I love it. My other favorite card is a 1989 Upper Deck Mark McGuire, which is probably, I think, $1.
So I want to say one of my favorite, and I don't have a very large collection. I changed the way I collect cards recently, and I just collect stuff that I like now. I'm
Yeah,
done with the valuable stuff, but I actually bought a card live on the podcast. It's a SGC 3 Ja Morant patch, pulled out of a pack, sent in to get graded.
Yeah.
By JK Cards right here.
Yeah.
He thought it looked great, but he didn't see an enormous crease going through it.
Sure.
He sold it to me for like $5. He's like, I would have gave it to you for free, but I was like, I don't care. I love it so much.
That's the thing, man. It's not about the...
It's hilarious that it got pulled out of the pack. He's sending in thinking, I'm going to get like a 9, 9.5.
Yeah.
Comes back at 3. He's like, WTF. And I'm like, I'll buy it from you. He's like, sure.
Yeah,
$5.
see, that's the thing, man. It's not about the
And I love
value
it.
of the cards. It's about how they make you feel, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so, like, some of my cards, like, I just, like, you know, one of my other favorites is the 84 Topps Don Mattingly. Oh. And it's probably, you can probably get one for $15, $20. But as soon as I see that card, boom, it takes me right back to childhood. It reminds me of all my neighborhood friends. Takes me right back to the old neighborhood. And I can see myself on the bus trying to trade cards and thinking, cool. I got to have that Mattingly. That's the coolest card ever, you know?
So I got one more question, then I'll let Rob ask a couple of questions because I'm hogging the questions, but my mind's flowing right now.
I like these questions, man.
Tell us your first impression of walking into this shop to other shops you've been to around the country. Like, just kind of give me that feel. Have you seen a shop this large? Have you seen?
And you can be honest.
Yeah,
Don't sugarcoat it just because we're here.
Yeah. We like constructive criticism.
Yes.
The reason I'm asking the question, because anything you do say, we like to hear what other places are doing and see, and we take everything, you know, with a grain of salt.
You know, honestly, I do not know how to, I have to give my honest take on everything, right? Because eventually truth comes out, so why not tell the truth right at the front, right?
If you hate it, you hate it.
If you hate it, you hate it.
If you love it, you love it.
So the cool thing about the United States is it's amazing how many different kinds of card shops there are. So I've probably been, in the last 13, 14 years, I've probably been to about 250 shops.
Wow.
Maybe 300 shops. Because, like, literally my job for a long time, I was in television and I had to drive all over the country and go to, like, all these different states. Boom, I'd stop into a card shop. If I was in Texas, I'd go and hit all the local card shops, and it was a way for me to kind of connect with the local culture and get to know the local people, right?
Absolutely.
Like, here I'm in Boston. Holy crap, I'm in Boston. And I'm getting to meet all these, like, local Boston people, and it's been amazing. Everybody's been so nice. And so you get these tastes of the country. So probably my all-time favorite was there was this little shop in Tennessee I went to. There was this old man in his like 80s, and it was more of like his own little personal museum. And I'd really gotten lost off the main highway. It was a little town called Owltown. I made a whole TikTok series just about this guy in his shop because he played in the minor leagues back in like the 1940s.
No kidding.
Yeah. Wow. And so I walk into his shop, and he's this bent over old man, and it took a while for him to even show up at the shop because it was closed, and his son came over. It was this whole story. And then he spent the next like couple hours in that shop telling me stories about some of the guys in the major leagues that he used to hang out with back in the 40s and 50s.
No
so he had hung out with like Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle.
Oh my
Wow,
goodness.
that's so cool.
Yeah, his name was George Hamby, a really great guy.
Shout out, George.
Sadly,
If he's listening.
may he rest in peace.
Oh, R.I.P. George.
Exactly.
We lost a legend.
But I remember I hung out at a card shop called The Dugout in Brooklyn back in 2009.
Okay.
And there's a whole YouTube show that was made about this shop, but it was this thing where I'd flown in from England. I was going to grad school there, flew in, and I wanted to go check out a local card shop, and I was totally broke at this time. And the card shop owner went, and we were opening packs of like 88 Topps and getting so excited that we found a McGuire or a Canseco in there. And then after I spent a couple hours with them, they were like, hey, why don't you come to the bar? We're going to go watch the Rangers game. So I spent the next few hours hanging out with these like local Brooklyn guys at this bar and watching the Rangers, and I just felt like super connected to New York, and it felt really special. So
That's super cool.
But your shop here is I like these new modern shops that bring a lot of community in. So FRESHPULLZ to me is like when I walked in, I've never actually been to pretty much any card shows. Like I said, it's been a very solitary hobby for me until recently. And so walking in here and just seeing kids and people milling about, and the fact that they've had to, put extra tables in the hallway because there's so many people. I just love the atmosphere and the energy here. It'd be interesting to see what this place is like when there's like a normal day that's not a card shop day.
Yeah, I mean, Rob could speak on that. He's here full-time working here, so.
But I like this shop because, Jesse, the owner, right?
One of them,
Jesse's
yes.
one of the owners. Yeah.
It's Jesse, Burt, and Jeff.
For me, I judge a card shop a lot by the owner of the place, or the owners, or the people I interact with. Some card shops you walk into and they just don't talk to you, they leave you alone, and you just kind of feel awkward, and then other card shop, guys like Jesse or whatever, they immediately welcome you in and say, hey, why don't you, check out this person? Let me introduce you. Or here's some of the cards we have. And you can tell that they love the hobby so much. And so for me, a lot of the shop is about who the owner is and who's running it and who's making all the, making you feel comfortable. And I feel very comfortable when I walked into the shop. So that was really cool.
That's cool.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah. So, card shops all over the country. There's modern ones. There's the old ones. There's ones been around for 40 years, like there's one in Tennessee, in Johnson City I went to, 40 years.
I do want to say, though, I know you've been to a lot of shops throughout the country and over the years. Yeah. Your memory is impeccable.
Yeah,
because if I went to
impressive.
that many shops, I wouldn't be able to remember half of them I went to. I'm sure you can give me a story on all of them.
I probably could, man.
It's kind of it's impressive. I'm kind of jealous because, like, if I did what you did, would I remember, like, the top 10 that I went to that I was, like, really made an impression? Like, you're giving cold, hard
specific details.
Yeah,
it was like,
wild.
I went to the shop in Brooklyn and we were ripping 88.
This is me just complimenting your memory. This is me complimenting.
The funny thing is, I film every single shop I've ever been to. Right, so over the last 15 years that I've been doing this, every shop I go to, I'll make a little video outside the shop. I'll make a little video in the shop, and so I've collected thousands of these videos, and I'm only now just starting to post these.
Yeah, I was just gonna. Did you start TikTok? Tell us a little bit about how your TikTok blew up. Shout out your TIkTok.
Yeah, my TikTok is it's Brian Pirrip.
Can you spell that for us?
Yeah,
for people that can't spell.
BRIANPIRRIP and
R.I.P. to the legend in Tennessee.
Yeah, there we go.
And it all comes around.
So I showed that Conseco card to my buddies. They filmed it, put it up. 37,000 people watched it. Then the next day I did a video, I think, about Frank Thomas. Another 30,000 people watched it. So I did a video about Mattingly, and I did this one video about Griffey Jr., and then like 110,000 or so, 150,000 people watched it. And so I was like, oh, man, maybe there's something here people are enjoying, because most of the stuff that I ever watch on TikTok or Instagram or whatever is always about the cash, the flipping, the breaking.
What is your TikTok? I'm trying to find it right now to talk to the people. You just spell it to me.
Here, I'll show you. It's probably easier to show you because...
Yeah, because you just spelled it, and I lost it.
No, I got a weird name. There's lots of I's.
There's a lot of I's, a lot of P's. Like, I was a little confused. I'm not the most illiterate. Oh, there you are. I have to tip in.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
I'll give you a quick follow.
Thanks, dude.
Oh, there he is. I just clicked on him. All right, well, I'm following him.
Well,
all right, let's check it out.
See, I just saw my TikTok increased by a bunch right then.
Boom.
No, but it was like I did that post about Griffey, and it really launched up. And so I just thought, I saw so much negativity in the kind of social media stuff around sports cards, and there was like, there's a lot of people that are just more into like, okay, how much money can I make off this card, or how can I flip this, and what's my grade? And I started getting frustrated because I hate it when there's so much emphasis on the grade that people forget about the stories of the card, the nostalgia, the history, why we all started collecting when we were kids. Nobody went back in the late 80s, early 90s when I was collecting. Nobody was like, oh, did you get a PSA 7 or an 8, right? It was more like, holy crap, you got a Mattingly, or you got a McGuire, you got a Conseco, right?
The grade didn't really matter?
Grade never mattered, right?
And I think that's one of the beautiful things about this hobby is that there's room for everybody.
Yeah.
There's room for those guys who do this as a living, who flip, who are just worried about, let me get the high grades, let me flip stuff, let me make money. And if that's what you want to do, great. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But there's also room for people who enjoy the stories, who don't necessarily need to focus on the money aspect of it and want to reminisce and have the nostalgia about it. And to me, that's one of the things that makes this hobby so much fun.
Dude, you nailed it. I totally agree. That's what I love about the hobby is there's a space for everyone, and there's so many different kinds of things. But I saw for myself, okay, I'm going to go into a niche of the hobby, which is going to be more about the history and nostalgia kind of stuff. And I'm going to leave the breakers to the breakers and the flippers to the flippers, but I'm not against any of them. I actually think it's really cool about all these new people coming into the hobby. I just thought, okay, I'm going to move into more of the storytelling place. And so all of my channel has been more about kind of traveling the country, telling stories, meeting interesting people, and talking about some of my favorite cards.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And we'd love, I know you're going to make a video here, but, definitely would like you to capture on your story as well to show everybody, because you probably have, it looks like just same amount of followers as FRESHPULLZ does, pretty close. But I guarantee you if we were going to compare, I bet you we only have like 10,000 of the same followers. So we love I'm sure Uncle Jesse's running around right now on the live. Are we live on TikTok right now? Yeah, we are.
that's what I think is interesting about this is there's so many different people in this hobby, and there isn't a lot of like crossover. And so I'll go into places where, you know, I've never met anyone, they don't know who I am, and so I think there's a lot more collectors out there that are even not on social media, and so I think there's just a lot of growth ahead for this hobby over the next 10 years.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I got into this hobby literally when FRESHPULLZ day one started. Bert's my childhood best friend, and he told me what him and his buddy Jeff were starting to do, and I just started hanging out with them. You know,
is that how it happened?
Yeah. They started like in 2020, right before the pandemic hit. Then the pandemic hit. Bert and Jeff kind of lost their jobs to they worked both in. They both enjoyed it, and then I started to just hang out with them and watching them. They started doing on Instagram their first box break that they did on Instagram. They couldn't even fill it, so they just did half the box. It was like a box of cellos of something, I forget.
Yeah.
And they did half a break, and they just had so much fun doing it. Next thing you know, they're doing the full boxes, and then they, you know, they just kept upgrading and going bigger. And I was just there from day one watching the growth of FRESHPULLZ, which was like, you know, super gratifying. You know, and then the next thing you know, Bert's cousin, Uncle Jesse, who that's his cousin.
Okay.
He came on. He lost his job during the pandemic as well. Next thing you know, now it's a 3-guy team along with myself, who's just in the background, just like sleeving and top-loading cards and just enjoying myself.
That's amazing.
Next thing you know, we're doing more. Rob, responsible Rob, hits up FRESHPULLZ. He gets hired.
Great name.
Yeah,
Thanks.
It is an awesome.
It's on Instagram and TikTok.
He is the responsible
cool.
one of the group.
Rob.
Hey, you gotta have a responsible
and then
guy.
next thing you know, Falls came in, then Teddy came in. We had some people come and go.
Tony Rotten, who unfortunately is not here
I know
today.
he's in Italy, right? Is he in Italy?
He's packing.
Yeah. But anyways, we just slowly grew, and next thing you know, their 1-year anniversary of the shop is May 1st.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we opened just
This has only been open since May of last year.
May of last
Correct.
year was our grand
you guys
opening.
have already grown this much?
Yeah.
Man, you guys are killing it. Well
Yeah.
Thank
done.
you.
Yeah. This
Thank you.
May 1st
It's
was.
been a ton of fun too.
Isn't it weird when you're a hobby, it becomes your career?
Yeah.
You know, like it's mind-boggling. Who
What
would have ever thought we'd make
what I love
money
about
and
this
enjoy it
is
off
that, like, you know,
playing cards?
I don't work for them directly full time. I have a
Yeah.
job outside of here, but every time I'm here, I'm always doing something with them. I do auctions with them and stuff, and I break with them. I help them sell in the store. It's just like, for me, it's just like a fun getaway. I just come hang out with my boys, open
Well,
cards,
and the
sell
funny
cards.
thing
It's a hobby.
It's awesome.
It really is a hobby.
The funny thing is that's how it started for me. I had a full-time job at the time, and I actually started following Loop on Instagram, and then they started promoting FRESHPULLZ. And then I started following FRESHPULLZ on Instagram, and I saw that they were opening up a shop, and I was like, great, this is so cool. I have a card shop I can go to. And I messaged them just thinking, oh, yeah, I'll go in like 1 day a week and do a rip session, whatever.
Yep.
And then Bert asked me for my resume, and I was like, I thought it was kind of weird that you need my resume if I'm just going to come in like 1 day
As a
a week
customer,
for a few hours.
Is that what I need for criteria to come into the store? I need a resume?
And, you know, eventually
That's amazing.
he looked at it, invited me up here and said, you know, we actually need, like, my entire background is in inventory management and warehousing. And he goes, we've been looking for an inventory manager.
Wow.
So I
Round peg, round hole. Works out perfectly.
exactly. So I started just helping them set stuff up 1 day a week while I was
feel?
still working
How does
my
it feel to
other
be in
job.
this, like, you know, this new environment where you're using the skills you've been trained for?
It's amazing. Like, I never thought I would end up in a role like this. You know, when you're a kid, everybody asks you what your dream job is.
Fireman, police officer.
Fireman.
Yeah.
You know, for me,
astronaut.
For me, it was
The
professional
president.
baseball player. You know, for me, it was professional baseball player. Like, that's what I wanted to do. But I think now, you know, thinking about it more realistically, if I had known about this back then, I think this is pretty much what my dream job would have been, would be inventory manager at a sports card
and
shop.
now you're standing in a booth doing a podcast all about sports cards.
Yeah, all about sports cards. And to your to what you said, Brian, in that, like, your hobby basically becomes your career.
Yeah.
The really cool thing about it is we have trade night here every Tuesday night. It starts at 6 p.m. It goes until whenever we decide that we want to go home, pretty much. I mean, we've been here until 11:30 most Tuesday nights. And I was thinking about it, like, yeah, I'm here for the shop. I'm working. I'm helping, you know, make trades happen, sell stuff. But also I can pull my cards out and trade my cards too.
Yeah.
So not only is it my career and a hobby, but now I kind of get the best of both worlds. And that's just...
Hey, Tommy from Lynn is rolling in.
Oh my goodness! Shout out to Tommy from Lynn. Tommy knows
Lynn
best
is a
podcast.
legend around
He's
this
a
area.
legend in the area.
A legend.
Absolutely.
He actually
A living legend.
living legend. He has autism. He's one of our boys.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
And I want to say
yeah,
that this whole event was kind of his brainchild.
Really?
Like, he was the first one to come to us and say, "Hey, like April's Autism Awareness Month. I think we should do something." And that put the
He's
bug
not just
in
a
our ear.
he's not like a local legend here. Let me give you a little background because you probably don't know who he is. So our local sports radio station here in the New England area, mainly Mass and New Hampshire Century, is on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Okay, yeah.
Tommy from Lynn calls in to all 4 shows. 10 to 2. I'm sorry.
I love those
6
kind of
to
guys.
6 to 10.
love those guys.
10 to 2. 2 to 6, and he doesn't. Sometimes he calls in the night show, but they always take his calls. He always has piping fire takes on Boston sports,
And they love him.
And he always gets on the air with all. I mean, 98.5 The Sports Hub is a very.
What's up, Tommy?
It's a very large, like, well-known sports station. Even not just even in Boston, like it's. I mean, they do big numbers, big numbers around here.
And Tommy's got his own podcast too that he runs on Facebook.
Yep,
Tommy knows best.
Well, he better.
Yeah.
When you're a big guy like him, you better have yourself a podcast. And he's fashionably late. You know, he can't show up on time to his own party.
No,
He's
not
got
at
to show
all.
up when it's right
Absolutely.
for him. You know,
Absolutely.
No, I love that you guys found a way to merge sports cards and our hobby that we all love with, an actual campaign to help people with, going through the autism and like, it's amazing. I love that, it's always been sports cards has always been this, hobby and making cash or, buying and selling. But now you found a way to actually kind of do a really cool event that's actually going to help a lot of people. I think that's
I mean,
rad.
what are we up to right now, False? $22,390 is where we're at, and we are what?
Yep.
2 hours in.
Man, that's
2 hours in.
That's a Wander Franco Bowman Chrome rookie auto right there.
Yeah.
That's a
we
good.
got a comment.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Brian, we got a comment on Instagram. It's Flying High Frenchies says hi. He says, "What's good, Brian?"
Hey, what's happening, Flying High Frenchie? He's my boy from, let's see, this is where my brain, Steel Trap, right? He's from just outside Palm Springs, city called, right outside Morongo. Like, he's a cool guy.
Morongo.
He is the ripping king, so I always love seeing him post on, like, make comments on my posts. Yeah, right?
I don't know what it is. I'm being so
Awesome.
sarcastic.
I'm from, it's from Beaumont. That's the name of the city. I'm from Los Angeles, and Morongo's like
come
a
on,
big
baby.
casino
Come on,
out in
baby.
the
We got a
desert.
door
All right,
prize.
I'm going to interrupt you 1 second.
Yeah,
We're
we
doing
got
a
a
door
door
prize.
prize.
It is
Come on.
noon
Come on.
Eastern.
Come on, baby. Pick Cook. Cook.
We got our big man Bert pulling the tag right now. We got no name on
No
the
name
raffle
on the
ticket.
back.
We got a winner.
Who won? Wait. The guy who pulled it? Really? He pulled it?
Wow.
Hey, he got it?
That sounds like
cool.
that sounds like collusion,
That's the definition.
that definitely sounds like
definition
collusion.
of rigged.
Yeah.
That is how you rig it right there. We
But
want a little man
regardless,
together.
congratulations.
That's what you rig right there. What was the prize? Yeah, that's a good question. Let me find out.
yeah, we're gonna find out real quick what the prize was.
$25 gift card to guess where? FRESHPULLZ.
Also, I have a live update for Rob Brown on Facebook. We have a new bid on that Giannis. So we're up to 176 on that Giannis jersey.
176.
So, Bobby, if you're still on, if you want to go up higher than that, let me know. I'll put in for you.
I'm going to put a bid on the Jason Tatum little canvas picture there. I kind of like that. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, the canvas is really nice. I like that one.
Yeah, is it auto? It's not autoed, right?
Yeah, it is.
The canvas one?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I think I'm gonna scout that one. I'm gonna eyeball it. I'm gonna be very strategic on how I win that. That's what I'm gonna.
Yeah.
That's what I'm rolling with today.
I love that you guys are doing these raffles. I love the silent auction. Like, you got some cool stuff there too. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, there's some
I have
really
my eye
cool
on
stuff.
That Dennis Eckersley jersey. I think
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
that's a really neat
So
one.
I'm not really a big Dennis guy, but obviously he does do some networking for the Red Sox. Like what is it called? Play-by-play guy.
Yeah, he's on the
I
broadcast
threw a couple
team.
tickets in there. There was no tickets in there. I was like, I like my odds. So I threw a couple in there. Why not?
Why not, man?
I'll take a W for an accurately signed jersey.
Frenchies, I got you. You're very welcome on that.
That's really cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Do you want to? Are you live right now on,
I
TikTok?
decided to go live. I never go live.
What's up?
What's up, everybody? Yeah, why don't you? You're more than welcome to come in and out of the booth. Why don't you?
Yeah,
just
if you
take
want to
a-
go out on the floor,
take a walk
take
around.
a live around.
Sure.
You're more than welcome to come in
There we
any
go.
time you want.
No, thank you guys. Really enjoyed talking to you. And
Yeah, and thank you for coming in
go,
and being part of this.
Go have some fun. Go browse the tables, and we'll get you back in here in like an hour or so. Maybe 2 hours down the road. Depends how long
yeah,
you're here.
for sure, man.
Get your.
I'm
I roamed.
literally jumping on a plane to Italy as soon as I leave here. I've got my suitcase here, and I'm going.
What
straight
time's
to
your
the
flight?
Airport. Flight's at like 4:30.
Oh,
Okay,
all right. Yeah,
you
so
got a
go
little
browse.
bit of
Go
time.
browse.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
have
go
some
browse.
fun.
Time, right?
Thank you very much for sharing your stories.
I'm going to a card show in London in about a week. There's a big card show
cool.
there. So that's my next
Awesome.
card show.
Do you have
after
kids?
this. No, I don't.
Do you want one?
Eventually.
I'll hang out with you.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll be your man
My
child.
new son. My new son. I love it.
Thank you very much.
All right,
thank
thank
you,
you,
guys.
Brian.
a
Again,
lot of
that's
fun, man.
Hey,
Brian.
Brian, thank you so much.
Pirrip.
That was awesome.
BRIANPIRRIP on TikTok. Go give him a
Did you
follow.
really just remember that?
I did.
That's what. Hey,
What? To be fair,
Responsible, okay?
To be fair, I did look at the screen and type it into the Instagram chat.
No,
so once
Rob,
I type it,
take the
it
credit where the
helps
credit's
with
due.
the memory.
You did it.
But regardless,
very much.
again, go give him a follow on TikTok.
Thank you.
Follow his travels around the world and the United States.
Holy
Rip and
moly.
packs.
That is like.
What a great story.
I want that job.
I know, right? Can you imagine?
how do you
just go? Like your job is to
awesome.
travel and rip packs. Like,
So,
are
like,
you kidding me?
I would do something like that if I got in on Dogecoin when it was under a penny.
Yeah.
Threw $500 at it, cashed out $1 million. Be like, all right, I'm going to card shops.
Absolutely.
Around. That was cool.
That was a good segment, guys.